everybody, it's Christine. It's time for day 21 of 30 Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life. I've actually rotated this sketch. It's actually like this. It's by Crystal Barrett with pineapple papers. But my little picture here is this direction. So we will be doing that. And technically looking at this, it's more like an 8.5 by 11 just because I know the iPad thingy here. So I'm going to be converting it to a 12 by 12. And she's kind of just got layers upon layers upon layers here with some, torn papers, little notebook punch, things like that. This might actually be a piece of corrugated cardboard in there. I don't think I'm going to do that, but interestingly, this almost looks like it would be see-through or something like that. I think I'm going to use pattern paper here, but anyway, I'm kind of in a grumpy mood, y'all. I just got off a customer service chat that didn't go very well. So I'm going to come in here and scrapbook to change my mood around and turn my frown upside down. So I have the May 2023 Scrap Room Flavors of the Month, which is the Simple Stories My Story, which, makes sense since it's about, or it's me. Actually, this picture here was just like it was actually one of your, like selfie pictures or whatever, and you ran it through that little cartoon app. I know I saw a lot of racket about that being some kind of Chinese spy app, so I made a few pictures and then I deleted it, but hey, it was fun while I had it. So I felt really pretty in that little cartoon picture there. I think I'm a romance novel character, So anyway, I'm gonna make me a layout about that to make myself feel better. So anyways, let me get to cutting. I've got these papers here. Actually, let me show you real quick. Uh-oh, I dropped some stuff. I got these papers. I think these are gonna be perfect because there is a little grid on the back of this one. There's actually a little grid on the back of this one. And technically that's kind of gridish. So I could choose between any of these really for my little grid in the corners that she had. And then of course there is this green solid cardstock. So I've got to figure out, like if I do the grid, and I have this on top, maybe, because I kind of like this floral a lot. So that might be what we do. This one's a little easier to see the picture on, but I really like this one, y'all. I might just have to, use white and black and pop it up and all the things. So let me figure that out 100% for sure, and I'll be back on in a second. Hey, you guys, quick check-in because I did have to dig into my stash, you guys, because I kind of was counting the layers and the papers and stuff, and I don't think I'm going to end up with enough if I just stuck with the 3 that came with. So I went in and I grabbed a couple of papers that I think are in the same kind of, little colors here. So mostly kind of peachy pinky kind of stuff, and then I got this one kind of neutral. What is this from? This is from Along the Way by Jen Hadfield. It's like talks about like beauty and whatnot. I don't know. This looked like maybe I'll do the notebook punch on this piece or something like that. Anyways, I just wanted to show you that real quickly. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to mention to you is I also got in my stash because there was a paper clip on the sketch, right? And I don't have it. There's not a paper clip in here. But I did have these in my stash, and there's one that says, the colors are kind of neat. It says daydreaming, and then one says celebrate. So I don't know which of these, I don't think I'll use what's up because that's not really the same, but I'm thinking maybe daydreaming, honestly. I really like that. I think that looks pretty. So that's what I think I'm going to do. So let me start back to work in here, and I'll be back on in a minute. All right, gang. Hopefully you don't hear too much racket in my room here. I've got the fan on. My husband and I work from home today, and we live in Texas, so it gets warm, and he's a little bit of a cheapskate, so we turn the heat up or the air up during the day, and it gets kind of warm in here, so it's kind of hot, so I turned the fan on. I did decide to use that floral as my background, and I did trim that down like a 1/2 inch so that it went on the back on the green cardstock, and I think that's just beautiful. And then so I've used this black and white grid where she had that in the sketch. I think this layout, y'all, it turned out surprisingly good. Like I was kind of happy with it because, well, what's interesting is like all the little layers and stuff, because it's a little bit organic and freeformy, and you'll see what I mean in just a minute. It was the perfect layout for me to do for the mood I'm in. Like it didn't require a lot of precision, if that makes sense. Like I do kind of fast around a little bit, but it wasn't like there was a lot of precision. So it was kind of perfect. And I do have to apologize because there is sunlight kind of shining down. Normally when I'm scrapbooking, it's like 4 in the morning. I think I've mentioned that before. So there's not really any sunshine. But it is in the afternoon. It was about, I guess, 4:45 when I came in here. And the sun is right on top of my, what side of the house this is, I guess west side or some such. So it's shining through the window right now. I'm thinking later on in this video it doesn't shine as much because I don't know that, I don't remember even noticing it. So somehow, I don't know when it goes away, y'all. So I've done my little torn corners, and now I'm kind of looking through my stash papers here to see which ones kind of make sense for the different little layers. And the first one I pick is this pretty little stripe, and it matches the little, y'all, I am not a floral person. Like, I'm not a person who understands or knows the names of flowers, so I can't even name these flowers in this paper here. But it's kind of a little dark, pink, darky, reddish pink or whatever. It matches those flowers, so I like that. And then the second little piece was this little kind of plaid, lighter pink, and it matches the little lighter pink flowers. And I really kind of like this because it's kind of stripes and whatnot. I think it looks great on top of these florals. And then I had already torn that piece, right, because it was part of that grid. So I thought, you know what, I'll just use it for the little piece she shows in the sketch that's torn on the side. So I'm kind of figuring out how long it needs to be, and then I'm going to just tear that in just a moment. And that worked out kind of perfectly, honestly. And then, what do I do next? I think the next little, I'm kind of just working from my bottom up, right? So the next little layer is my notebook punch. And I started to look at these words here to do that. I kind of made that comment in the intro. But I realized if I did that, I was going to end up with them going the wrong direction. So that's when I decided to use this little, like, ledger paper that's kind of the coral that matches the little coral flowers. I'm going to cut this down, and I'm going to use my little notebook punch here. And that didn't take but just a second. That's one of those, you know, you just stick it in there and punch, punch, punch. Ready to go. That's going to be a perfect little notebook punch. Sorry about the head, y'all. You got to lean over, you know, to see where the little piece, the little notches and stuff are. And I'll trim that down, and that'll be my little notebook punch piece. And then I'll use the word piece. That's going to be the base of my my photo mat. Sorry, y'all. I'm getting all kinds of little notifications here. It's that time of day, you know. So that's going to go there. Obviously, I haven't glued anything down yet. I will in a minute. Actually, what I'll end up doing is kind of setting it all together, and then I kind of keep it there and then use my ATG gun. I think I tried to cut most of that part out because it's a little bit strange, but I think I made that work. So here's, I'm putting the photo on top of this little heart paper. It's the back side of, well, what was that the back side of? I think it's the peach paper, y'all. Yeah, I think so. And at first I didn't know for sure I was going to use that because I go, what's hearts, and does that really make sense because it's kind of these florals and whatnot, but I kind of like it. It's really pretty. It's got a little, it's real sweet, you know, it's a little tiny pattern, so I think that works out pretty well. So I'm going to tear around that because she had that in her sketch. And then I'll lay it down on top of the little neutral word paper. Now, I will say the neutral here is a kind of a cream, which isn't the same as the white and black grid, but there's these little flowers inside the floral that are a little bit on the creamy side, and so I decided it was perfectly fine. I made that decision because I'm the boss of my own layout here. And so I'm just going to tear this, and I will kind of fast around just a minute after I do this to try to make the photo kind of lay kind of like her sketch, because she's kind of got it, I don't know, a little off-center, a little wonky. And also I need to make sure that the paper clip will fit over the top of the photo from the side of the little set here. So I do that. I'll have to kind of organize my photo just a little bit, because if I stick my paper clip on there right now, it wouldn't touch the photo. So I'll fast around with that in just a second. But here's where I'm kind of making sure all my layers are going to show and everything looks good. But like I said, this was really not, see, there's what I'm saying. I'm trying to put the paper clip down, and I go, well, you're not even touching the photo, so you got to get up underneath there. So I kind of reorganized some things here. But I really enjoyed how this turned out. Again, this was kind of the perfect layout. And if I'm going to confess too, I had Sarah Davies playing on the iPad up there on the YouTube, because she just has this real soft, soothing voice. And I kind of needed it. I needed to have a little soft, soothing voice. Y'all, I don't know if y'all can tell. You might can by this point. I'm a little bit of a type A personality. I'm a little bit of a control freak. And I didn't get a delivery that was supposed to come, is basically what happened. And I don't want to go off on a tangent or nothing, but I was not getting any assistance from either the carrier or the business. So I was very aggravated, and I told the little chat boy, I said, you're quite rude. I really did. And then I filled out that survey at the end of the call, by golly. Anyways, so it was kind of nice to be listening to Sarah's voice and doing this little organic layout that didn't require a lot of precision thinking, and just kind of enjoy my time, you know what I mean? And then my husband, bless his little heart, he came in here at the end of the day and he goes, what time is dinner? Which was fine. I mean, it's totally fine. I kind of knew I needed to organize that, but It was fun. Okay, so I've got all my little photo mats and everything glued down, laid down, glued down, all the good things. And now it's time to kind of embellish. Now, she really didn't show a ton of embellishment, I'm going to be honest. But my lower left corner there, because, again, she was an 8.5 by 11 in the sketch, I think. I felt my corner was a little bit empty, and I had a big old space there. So I'll bring in, I had in my little ephemera, because with the scrap room, you just get your little samples. Hey, y'all, I'm not going to lie, though. That little old green flower I stuck up there, I think that's a flower. I picked that thing up and rotated it about 3 or 4 different ways, because I go, what is that? Like, what is this? And I finally decided it was a flower, but I'm not going to lie. I couldn't figure out what it was at first. I was like, is this a butterfly? Is this a flower? Is this some kind of flying moth? I don't know what this is. I did decide it was a flower, though, so he will go up there in that corner. I took him out because I wasn't sure, but he goes back up in there. I needed something. It was just it just needed a base up there for some stuff. Again, not that was on the sketch, but I kind of wanted it on there. So I put the flower in the lower left. I did choose the title of Choose Joy, rather. Because, again, I'm kind of talking to myself at this moment when I'm making this layout. I'm just kind of telling myself, choose joy. There's a couple of little small florals. I will end up putting those down there in that lower left corner with a little foam adhesive behind it. I'm checking out the other pieces here. There's a little truck. It says, like, fresh flowers. And even happy. I actually stick that on the photo, but I decided against that pretty quickly. I don't really care for that. So I end up with a few pieces that do not get used. This little butterfly does get used. I put a little bit of Nuvo glue on his belly, and then I used foam dots on the wings to give it a little lift on those wings. What else have I got going? I really didn't do any journaling or anything on this layout either, honestly, y'all. It's just an artistic layout with no real purpose other than to show my cartoon face. I look at these little pieces here. So the little set did come with these little pieces. It says, like, Good Vibes, I think, and 2 small little self-adhesive, like Jewel Brad deals. And I really kind of wanted to use them, but I go, well, I've got 3, and I just wasn't liking where I was going to end up having to do it, and so I set it aside because I really want to use them properly in a way that makes me happy. So that's going to go back in. I did end up with 1 piece of paper left over too, y'all. Y'all can kind of see it to the left. There's that green kind of diagonal print there. I did not end up using all the paper, so I still have enough for 1 more layout. So I ran off into my stash, though, and this is actually when my husband came in and was talking to me, and I had pulled out these little things. There's like a peach color and a yellow color, and I stuck down the yellow, and I went, wait a minute, I meant to use kind of the peachy color of these jewels. So I'm talking to him, and I stick it down, and then I realize even after I do that, I don't have enough anyway, so I'm going to end up having to use the yellowish color too. So I end up using both colors anyways. So I'll end up putting like 3 little jewels in each section, and I kind of went with jewels because I don't know what it was about it. I felt like I need a little shine. And then that's all I'm going to do to this layout, y'all. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble and complain about my customer service chat and checking out my layout here. And I'm hopeful that tomorrow I wake up in a better mood and then have a better layout. Anyways, y'all have a great one. Check out the playlist. Everybody playing along's on the playlist. And Instagram at Scrapping Harden, and like and subscribe and all the good things, all the good. And we will see you tomorrow. Bye.